Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's webinar. Good evening to you all. So today's webinar is looking at opportunities with Highways England. My name is Esme Dixon. I'm part of the Employment Department here at the Officers Association. We are joined by Robert and Polly from Highways England. So over to you, Robert.
Yeah, good afternoon everybody. My name is Robert Jaffier with Highways England. I'm an asset manager, asset and resource manager, and formerly served in the Majesty's Royal Navy, and I'm now an active reservist working with Highways England. And over to you, Polly.
Hi, I'm Polly Nicholls. I'm on a HR graduate scheme at Highways England. So I'm working in resourcing, so recruitment at the moment, and I'm developing an ex-military recruitment programme.
So today's webinar will have an introduction into Highways England, talking about their roles and the different opportunities, Robert's experience and his transition into the organisation, and then some top tips for joining Highways England. So over to you, Robert.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Esme. First of all, we're going to talk about who we are. We operate and maintain and improve England's motorway network and looking after their area roads. Our roads in the network total about 4,300 miles. While this only presents 2% of all the roads in England by length, these roads carry a third of all traffic by mileage and 2/3 of all heavy goods traffic. We will deliver 15 billion of investment on our road network as described in the government's road investment strategy. This includes 11 billion of capital funding committed between what we call our road investment period programme 2015 to 2020, as set out in our strategic business plan. About Highways England, so our main aims are connecting the country. We believe that connecting people, building communities, creating opportunities to help our nation thrive. We care about your journey. We aim to provide all customers with safe and reliable journeys through the way we operate, maintain, and enhance one of the world's most advanced road networks. Safety, customer service and delivery. That's some of our key prime things that we actually look for. Our imperatives are all guides on our opportunities and remain our main focus, keeping people moving today and moving better tomorrow. Safety, teamwork, ownership, integrity and passion. They may well resonate with some of your own values from your own relative services, but these are ours in terms of Highways England. We have over 5,000 employees, and we're hoping this will grow. And now that we're focused on recruiting some of the good skills from some of our former military service personnel and bringing them in and finding opportunities where they can come into the organisation. To aid that, we have offices in Bedford, Birmingham being the home of our National Traffic Officer Centre, Bristol, Exeter, Guildford, Leeds and Manchester. We have a number of roles within Highways England, and these diverse roles across all levels of the business. We have support functions such as commercial and procurement, corporate affairs, communications, IT, human resources and finances. And we even have more hands-on roles in operations, engineering, program and project management. Now you may find that some of the work that you did within the services, can they migrate across? Well, the answer is yes. And I'm going to try to link that through in terms of my experiences with Highways England. I joined as a reservist, then in the Royal Navy, got commissioned, and then as a reservist, that side came up information operations and went out, then mobilised and went out full-time service to theatre, Afghanistan, and a teaching opportunity in America, which was great. I then came back into the organisation and I brought with me a number of transferable skills. Primarily, yes, there was an issue with the culture in terms of my leadership style was a little bit different, so I had to quickly civilianise that. But then what was important, the leadership, the management, and my view on life and how I tackle tasks. Many of us are aware of the estimate stage that we use. for breaking down a problem, finding the issues, finding opportunities, and how we deliver those solutions to problems, issues, and concerns out in our military life. It's no different than how we do it here in terms of the business. My skills in terms of the management helped me quickly assimilate within Highways England. I quickly came in, got promoted, started as a planning manager, and quickly with my transferable skills once they were recognised, I took up another post, or several posts actually, and now I'm an asset and resource manager. I manage a team of planners, and these are, some of them came from a technical background, some non-technical, and I'm responsible for land use planning, maintenance, and the forward program within my region. My specific area, I manage Shropshire, Telford and Wrekin, and Herefordshire. Quite a large footprint of the West Midlands conurbation. But, you know, I'm very proud to be part of the organisation and proud to actually say, yes, I work for Highways England.
So, Robert, in your opinion, which of your transferable skills are sort of most valued or most important at Highways England?
I think now, because we used to be part of the civil service, we're now a company and have been so for 3 years, is definitely leadership. Leadership is key. We need good leaders. We need leaders who are considerate, focusing on the values. And I think that's one of the big transferable skills which is used very much today in terms of looking at the issue, looking at problems, and not only taking the team and the individuals through those issues, but also focusing on our customers and helping them understand the way we do things.
Okay, thank you. So just thinking about leadership and the different roles and skills that you'll need for a career within Highways England, let's just go to a quick poll question. If everybody would like to select that answer, which area of the business interests you the most? So there's commercial and procurement, IT or finance, operations, project management, or engineering. So, Robert, we've got 57% of people saying project management, 14% saying finance or IT, and 29% saying operations. Do you think that's sort of a fair representation of Highways England as well? Are most of your roles within project management?
Well, I think yes, Esme. I mean, that's actually right. Project management, thinking that the fellow service personnel actually on this call, we do project management every day, be it collecting the barrels of water to go and provide aid, water aid to a village, from logistically moving one group of service personnel to another. So project management is what we do day in, day out. And I think many people will be well suited within project management. We've got finance, 14%, and operations. Yeah, similarly in terms of your skills. One thing I will say is that when I came into the organisation, I actually went and got some formal qualifications, of which the organisation was fortunate to support me in at that time. So now I'm qualified civil engineer and qualified spatial planner, of which I've got the certificates and the masters to prove that.
Oh, great. So did Highways England want you to have these qualifications before joining, or was it sort of an extra once you were already part of the organisation?
Well, for me, I had good qualifications on entry, and that was key for getting in, but not vital. But I think now we're moving towards the life learning experience. This is why we're focusing on persons from military backgrounds, which effectively have lots of life learning experience, but may not always have some of the qualifications their civilian counterparts may have. So we recognise that as a value. We recognise that as an opportunity that we now want to capitalise. So hence giving people the opportunity to know a little bit more about Highways England and come and listen to what we've got to say at some of our open days and innovation day.
Great. So, well, that leads nicely into your current vacancies and opportunities. So, Polly, if you wanted just to discuss those.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Robert mentioned that we've got something called the Road Investment Strategy, which is essentially the funding that the government's given to us. So between the period of 2015 and 2020, we were given 15 billion to invest. And we also are getting, I don't know the exact, but I think it's about 11 billion for the next RIS2, so the next period after 2020. So as part of that, we've got a big recruitment push. So we are hiring people all the time. We went up from about 3,500 employees to 5,000 last year, and we probably will recruit about 1,000 next year, hopefully. So like I said, we've got loads of vacancies coming out all the time. So just to give you an idea of all the different directorates we've got, in our business management improvement at the moment, we've got a policy and development advisor and a senior advisor. We've got sort of HR roles, comms roles, lawyers. Then in like operations, we've got asset development managers, engineers, program development. We've got planning because obviously we've got a lot of investment, so we need a lot of planners. And like you mentioned earlier, Robert, project management is a massive area at our House England. So we've got an actual directorate called Major Projects. So we're always looking for project managers. So just to give you an idea of the type of roles, they are very varied. And obviously, just normally say the salary and the location as well, so you sort of know what you're applying for when at the very beginning.
Oh, great. Could you just share some insight into what a project sponsor is at Highways England? Obviously, job titles aren't always clear for those leaving the military and the different definitions. So if you could just discuss a project sponsor.
Yeah, so basically the project sponsor is someone who writes the business case. So someone who is there at the very beginning of the project normally, and they sort of are there in the concept stage initially. So they sort of write the business case, the reason why we need to do a specific project, and then they see it through to sort of handover stage and like the benefits realization. But it is quite a hands-on job. You've got a lot of responsibility because you sort of own the project essentially. And then you would then manage the project managers who then do the actual day-to-day managing of the project.
Okay, thank you. So Robert, you mentioned earlier, that you're actively recruiting. Could you talk about, why you want to recruit service leavers? You mentioned their transferable skills and the values.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's come to recognise that people in the military do go out and do a serious job. Sometimes have a lot of fun, and sometimes what they're doing is just giving the recognition for that. Many of them operate at all levels across you would find in a typical organisation. So what we want to do, we understand that these are disciplined people who worked hard, some of them studied hard, and can be relied upon to do what they say they're going to do and deliver what they're trained, and add a bit of extra flair. We're looking for people that think outside the box, which is often what you have to do as a military person, and often that polite challenge to question, is this the best way of doing things? Can we do things another way, more efficient? So all those skills taken in with their worldwide experience of the various jobs and roles that they do, Highways England recognises that's a very valuable commodity which we want to help share and help grow our organisation with their skills and attributes as we move forward to manage our big challenging programme.
Thank you, Robert. So thinking about your experience and your transition into the organisation, we're going to open up to a poll question now. So when you leave the military, what's the most important aspect that you look for in a company? So is it the salary, the job responsibility and ownership, your flexible working, having an ex-armed forces community or a mentoring system or a buddy, or is it the teamwork within the organisation? The majority of people, 71%, have gone with job responsibility and ownership, and the other 29 going with salary. So Robert or Polly, is this a sort of a true reflection of Highways England? Are you giving responsibility early on and taking ownership for your work?
Yeah, I mean, ownership is one of our values, and it is something that we take really seriously. So a lot of what we do in Housing is based on trust. It's not very sort of tightly controlled or anything like that. often, as far as I'm aware, what I've seen so far is that you do get a lot of responsibility in your role, and you're obviously expected to deliver it and yeah, do it, basically take ownership.
Thank you. So this leads nicely your other values and sort of a bit more about what you're doing with the mentoring system. So Polly, if you wanted to go into a few more details there.
Yeah, so as part of our Armed Forces community, we're sort of developing a community. So we've got like a Yammer page at the moment with like some people who are ex-military. Basically just have like a chat. We do some polls and questions and things like that, and also they get a chance to help out at events. Also part of the program is if you did come through on the program, because it is actually going live next week. So when you apply for a job with us, we'll be able to identify that you're ex-armed forces. We'll ask you to tick a box, and that just means that you come through the program and just get that extra bit of support. And as part of that is we'll join you up with the community, and if you want one, you could also be sort of provided a buddy, who's just someone who's been through the same experience. They will be ex-armed forces, and it's just someone that you can go and have a coffee with and catch up with, and yeah, just basically someone that you can talk to. We also do a lot of flexible ways of working depending on the role that you apply for. So we have a lot of focus on well-being, and in the way that we offer flexible working, we sometimes do like job shares, part-time, or we do like flexi time, where so if you do your 37 hours a week and you're getting the job done, you're delivering what you say you're going to deliver, then we're quite flexible with what time you come in, and as long as you come in between 7:30 and 6:30 between set hours. So yeah, so basically it's just about getting the balance right so we can expect the best from you.
So would you be able to sort of talk us through, how to apply? How can people actually register their interest for jobs that they found?
Yeah, so visit our careers website. So the address is there, but you could also type it into Google, Highways England Careers. So we've got plenty of jobs all the time. Like I said, we do advertise for 2 weeks at a time. So what is probably worth registering, setting up an account. Make sure you tick the box which says if you're ex-military, so you can obviously come through on the program, and register for job alerts. So you basically keep up to date with jobs that you can specify as your criteria. So if you're just basically interested in project management, note that down, and then whenever we've got something that we think matches your skill set, we would send you a job alert. So that's really useful to do. As I said, we've got jobs out all the time. So then if you do actually see a job that you're interested in, you want to apply, you just click on it and press apply now, and then complete the application form, and you'll have to attach your CV. And then the process after that is if you were invited to interview, you may have to do a telephone interview depending on the role, but they're generally CV and competency based. But if you get your email to say, would you like to book onto interview, it will actually tell you what the interview will be based on. So you've got plenty of knowledge of what it will be like to prepare. And then if you are successful, then you'd start around 6 weeks after that, because we do DBS checks and those sort of other checks. And then once you were in the organisation, like I said a minute ago, we'd see if you wanted to be paired up with a buddy, if that was something that you wanted to do.
And great. So actually applying, you've got some top tips for your CV and your interview. Would you be able to pick out sort of the 2 or 3 most important?
Yeah, so I think the most important is one, tailor it to the role you're applying for. It can be quite off-putting when you open a CV and it's really generalized and it's really obvious that you've just submitted it because it's another job that's available, sort of thing. So it's really impressive if you really try and tailor it to the role you're applying for. And the way that you can do that is the main aspect which catches your eye straight away is including a short personal statement at the top. So it only has to be probably about 6 sentences, maybe no longer, sort of 6 lines, no more than that, and just really try and emphasize in that short paragraph how you would be suitable for that specific role.
Okay, and the same, just a couple of top tips for an interview at Highways England.
Yeah, so I think one of the most impressive things is if you tell us why you want to work for us and sort of show that you have actually researched the company. And it's really good to mention specific projects and sort of how you think you could work on something like that and how your skills can apply to that. And also, it's really good. We do value what you've been doing while you've been in the armed forces, but we are aware that some home managers may not have that sort of prior knowledge. So really try and translate the military terminology into sort of words or sentences that they might understand more easily.
And how much experience would you sort of expect to see on a CV for Highways England? How many years back will your recruitment managers be looking for?
I mean, that's a difficult question because obviously it depends on where you've come from. You might only just joined like 4 years ago, whatever. But I think there's no point putting jobs that were say 12 jobs ago. So if you've had about 10 jobs, I'd probably say leave it there and don't include all the old ones unless you think it's really relevant. But yeah, just try and make sure that you make it clear and concise, and just basically really highlight what job application is looking for, and then how your CV reflects that.
Okay. So we've had a few questions come in. Firstly, would achieving chartered management status be beneficial to the recruitment process?
Again, it depends on the job that you're applying for. If it was for a manager role, then yeah, it would. It probably would be useful for you to have, because obviously you'd have that theory to apply. But we don't, unless it's a really specialised role, we rarely expect someone or say that you have to have a qualification. So I would say it's useful to, if you are receiving resettlement money or you're interested in doing a course, it's always going to help you, but I wouldn't say it's absolutely fundamental to get one.
Okay, great. We'll just pause for a moment to let everybody else submit their questions. So although you're listening, you just want to type your questions in now, and we can then hand over to Polly and Robert to get them answered. Okay, so Robert or Polly, is there any sense of organisational resistance about targeting ex-forces specifically? What are your current employees and employers' views on potentially getting the ex-military community more involved with Highways England?
I mean, from my end, because I've obviously been developing this ex-military program, from my end, everyone that I've spoken to is actually really supportive of it and really keen to help and think that it is a really great initiative. I think a lot of the sort of hesitance, whatever, might just purely be from not being familiar with it. So if you're not familiar with the terms or ranks or anything like that, I think they just need to be explained. But from my point of view, I don't think there's resistance as such. It's more just, yeah, they're not aware. But Robert, what do you think?
Well, I think over the last couple of years, I've been doing quite a lot with the help of our comms team and HR, and put a number of articles on the portal. Some of them featuring me in uniform. We celebrate Armed Forces Day, and it's great, I suppose, breaking down those barriers. And I suspect this is probably where the question came from, because yes, it's fully acknowledged the military is a slightly different culture when you come into a civilian culture. But I think some of the work that we're doing, and that's being received quite openly now, that yes, looking at diversity and the different walks of life where prospective employees are likely to come from, their backgrounds and skills from different jobs and different roles, and we're beginning to celebrate that. So there's a number of portal stories. Polly's doing some work here with developing the ex-military community, and we're developing a number of buddies that Polly mentioned to actually help and assist people should they get through the process. So it's pretty positive for me. I'm here, I'm doing well, and I'm hoping to do a little bit better as well, and I'm hoping to buddy some potential new recruits, as it were.
Yeah, great. So just thinking about the internal network, have you got any idea about scale, or how big is the network at the moment?
So we've got in the 30s at the moment, because it's obviously just sort of taking off. But we haven't been able to sort of report on it before now. But we have actually got some sort of comms planned for June. We're actually we're having like an Armed Forces Month theme running in June because of Armed Forces Day. And as part of that, we are asking people to let us know who is ex-military in the organisation, so we can sort of build a database. So it's really great that we've got about 30 people, every one of which is so keen to help, so keen to support and be a buddy and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's definitely growing by the day.
To help with the culture, I'm actually leading out on a couple of initiative days where I'm linking, as part of the engagement with employers and the military. We've signed the Armed Forces Covenant. We've put a bid in to recognise our employer for a promotion to a silver award, which I'll find out in October. When we sign the Armed Forces Covenant, we automatically qualify for bronze, but now we're made an application for silver, recognising Highways England as a good employer with good policies to support existing military personnel. And there's another initiative which I'm driving, and that is I've invited some of my senior leadership team within my directorate, the Operations Directorate, to come and experience 2 days of something called Reserve Challenge. That's out in Shropshire with a local army brigade supported by the Navy and the Air Force, where we take people out for a 1.5 day, 2-day experience out in the field, doing a round robin of different stances, exercises to test their mental agility, mental thinking, and group and teamwork exercises. I think some of you have done these things before, yeah.
So, Highways England employees are getting to understand the transferable skills and the mindset of those in the military. And just going back, talking about the great values that you have there, and you mentioned flexible working. How realistic would it be for somebody to apply for a job that isn't local? What sort of the expectation on distance working?
Well, we do a lot of working from home because we have 7 offices, obviously, like Robert mentioned, around England. We are really flexible in terms of if a team is based in one area but you do live in another, depending on the role, depending on the project, it is sort of common for some people to be based in one area, but then they'll travel to that office if they're happy to do so. So yeah, we do place a lot of focus on flexibility and sort of well-being. So we do try and accommodate most sort of requests, but obviously depends on the role.
Okay, and so we've had a couple more questions come in. So officers and those leaving the military are granted funding for resettlement, which they can put towards qualifications or training. Do you think it's worth completing a specific project management course now to be ready for a role within Highways England? And do you have any recommendations sort of on which qualification people should be looking at?
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in project management, then I definitely think that it's definitely worth looking at the APM. So that's the sort of body that we use at Highways England. We do recognise Prince 2, but we sort of do the APM qualifications. So I know that you can get APM level D in a week course, especially if you've got that experience, that transferable skills, because everyone has sort of project knowledge. It's just sort of transferring it. So yeah, I definitely would recommend the APM level D if you can, but Prince 2 again would be useful if that's the one that you're sort of leaning towards.
Okay, great, but you wouldn't necessarily be sifted out if you didn't have a qualification. It's all about your transferable experience and your CV.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the role, really. It just depends on what is sort of required for that specific role. But we rarely say that you need a qualification because obviously, like we're focusing on equality and diversity and inclusion. So, I mean, if you are going to get that resettlement money and you want to put it towards something great and you want to do project management, it would definitely be worth doing, but it's not essential.
Okay. And thinking, if you secured a role with Highways England, what's the benefit package like? Are Highways England still more of a civil service-like employer, or would you consider yourself to be more corporate?
I definitely think that we're moving towards like a more corporate sort of culture, but we do have a lot of great benefits. Like we've got a great pension scheme. We do sort of like holiday pay schemes, sort of transport related benefits. Obviously, the flexible working ability is quite a good benefit as well. So yeah, I mean there is a lot of things available, and we have sort of everyday benefits as well. So like everyday discounts, like Tesco discounts and Waitrose and that sort of thing as well.
Okay, great. So we've got time for just one more question. So Polly, you mentioned the interview process last time. Would you say there is, a standard process, or is it, job dependent? So, for example, would you have a telephone interview and then 2 face-to-face interviews with different panels, or, how does that work?
Again, it depends on the job. Some jobs you might just get an interview and then they'll make a decision, whereas other ones you might have to have a telephone interview beforehand, then an interview, then maybe a second interview. A lot of the time it can depend on how many applicants we receive as well, and depending on like the standard of people that are sort of interviewing against each other, there may be a need for a second interview. But again, it depends on the role. It's hard to say because obviously you have such a huge variety of roles. They can differ. But if you were successful to be invited to an interview, you'll always receive in that email details about what to expect. So there won't really be any sort of surprises or anything. You'll know what to prepare for.
Okay, and Robert, did you just want to give sort of a quick summary of what we've discussed and learnt this evening?
Yeah, sure. Okay, we learned about that Highways England are quite keen to move forward to explore people with the military coming in. We understand that there's skills and attributes which similar to our values, which we want to value and value within Highways England as we grow. We've got a very big challenging programme ahead, of which it's quite clear we need people and we need good people to keep the country moving and to keep the motorway network functioning. It's a good opportunity for people ex-military with those skills to consider Highways England. We have a good supportive network. We have a good package and reasonable salaries when compared with other competitors, and a fantastic pension opportunity. We have the Insight Day on 21st of June. Please go online and register for that. There is a waiting list, but you will find it beneficial. And similarly, as Polly mentioned, create an account, set up the alerts, and apply for anything that you believe your transferable skills can actually work at. And similarly, the key point is when you're submitting your CV, make sure it's tailor-made where possible to each individual role.
Right, well, thank you, Polly and Robert. It's been great to learn more about the opportunities with Highways England, and as Robert highlighted, definitely register for the Insight Day, get yourself along and speak to the hiring managers and veterans already in Highways England employment. You can find all the info on our website, but also register yourself with Highways England, and the careers details are on your screen now. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Good evening.